morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Heflatv 1. Today with Heflatv and I got a co-cast here. Roxas is with me. Either way, this is MVP, the Korean team, versus Mahameru. Never seen those guys before, but they're supposedly Indonesian. We decided on a very short notice that we go for this game because there hasn't been a single decent stream on the game, and I think MVP as like an uprising Korean team deserves a proper stream. That's why we go for it. For me, it's good morning, so good morning to all those people out in the CET times. Good evening for all those Korean that might stop in here. Either way, Roxas, let's hop into the draft.
Yep, absolutely. So, as we see from Mahameru, we've got the first Lycan ban. They didn't really think about that. MVP Phoenix responds with the Invoker ban. They're always the big four. Even though there have been some nerfs and it's 6.81, still Lycan, Ember Spirit, Invoker, and Centaur, the big four. So you are more than likely going to give one of those away if you don't ban it. So we see AA prioritized here by Mahameru, so maybe they're going to be going for maybe some sort of heal strats. Dazzle, Abaddon are still quite popular. But the metagame as far as Indonesia and Korea is just so dynamic and volatile. It's really hard to predict these drafts, at least past the first phase.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, so far, everything's absolutely standard. I'm actually looking forward to, because Korean Dota, like, I haven't followed it, I have to admit it, like, I really like the attempt what Valve tried to do there, like ignite some sort of spark, give the Korean scene a spark, then like sort of exporting the Sapphire team around Purge there, and I have kind of a split opinion about this, and maybe I shouldn't even do it public, what I think about Sapphire and their role in the Korean scene. But fact is, at least they got a lot of promotion, a lot of people were talking about it, and I know the Korean teams are like on a daily basis improving, and well, I hope at some point we're gonna see them in the big international scene. This is really my biggest hope, because Korea, this is pretty much the homeland of StarCraft 2, or StarCraft at all. Even Warcraft back in the times were amazing players out there, and now it's Dota. Dota also a game that requires so much skill, so much like team assessment and everything. It's, well, let's just hope for it, and that's why I'm especially curious about this draft. I mean, so far everything is standard. Invoker, Send, like in AA, that's absolutely sticking to the current meta. I don't see so far any difference between a UE. Why do I always say UE? EU game or a CIS team. We have Batrider coming out now. He has the first pick, so MVP, they secure themselves the Blink Dagger initiation with the Lasso, and on the other side, the Indonesian guys, they go for Ember Spirit. Like, nothing surprising so far. Now, okay, now it gets interesting. A Sand King. It's not the most regular pick we see, but yeah, he also gets like a slight step forward into the current meta.
Yeah, well, Sand King is, well, I think the most popular things are basically anyone that can farm the jungle quickly and can also roam, and to complement that, also carries that can be left alone in the lane are pretty good too. So Sand King, not really the best at roaming, at least until he hits level 4 or 3 and has level 2 Burrow Strike. Most people won't level up level 2 Burrow Strike until level 4 anyway. But with just level 3, he can go and farm stacks in the jungle with Sandstorm, which also leaves more experience to the support and the carry in their safe lane. Bat obviously farms the jungle very quickly, and all he needs is a Blink Dagger and it's the word go. So by securing up Sand King and Bat, they have two people that are going to be able to come online very early, plus that also secures your initiation and counter initiation right away if they're able to farm efficiently. So,
absolutely.
Good pickup.
And it's with the Sand King, like, I actually like Sand King more on the Radiant side, because on the Radiant side he can act like some sort of like Enchantress and Chendu. Like, you can actually put up a dual lane, or like a I always call a semi-tri lane, because you have someone rotating out of the jungle into the lane and can make it a tri lane whenever they demand it, because for a gank whatsoever. But like, all he needs to do is like grab some levels, get that Sandstorm level 2 up before he was stacking already some jungle camps, and then he suddenly will have some gold influx that's just crazy. And with that,
especially for a support,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Pretty.
Yeah, He can do it without any effort. Like even Batrider in comparison is not as effective because he's still losing some HP. He has to spend mana, etc., on farming like jungle camps whatsoever. But like if Sand King can farm his stacks there without any harass, like he's getting so fast gold, and just by ticking up the gold, we might see a very early Blink Dagger. Sometimes this fails, I have to say it. But like if he's successful and then suddenly he comes out of the jungle with a Blink Dagger and the Epicenter Burst Strike initiation, that really hurts. And also Sand Kings, we saw many good Sand Kings out there in the past 2 weeks with Aghanim Scepter Rush before they even got the level 3 Epicenter out, and it hurts. Like if the placement of the ultimate is correct, like directly in a team fight where at least 3 or 4 players of the enemy are involved, this epicenter damage is just great. Later then with Veil of Discord, any other debuff like Soul Catcher, which will not happen because we just see him on a ban. But yeah, like I love Sand Kings, and the epicenter is such a crucial spell, but it cannot go also horribly wrong. We saw many times how epicenter got cancelled, and it's very hurtful for the player, for the team, and also hurtful to cast because you're like, oh my god, the epicenter come, oh wait, no, interrupted by a random ability.
Well, in response to the Sand King, we saw the Viper picked up right away. Strong laner, pretty versatile as well, also builds a mech for your team. I'm always a fan of cores that build mech because it puts a lot less on the supports. So we saw Shadow Demon banned out, as well as Clockwork, and then Nyx as well as Luna banned out. So MVP Phoenix go for the Dazzle as their second pickup to round out their other support. So I'm wondering what the response would be from Mahameru. It would be really interesting to pick up a third core right away.
Yep, I guess maybe, but no, I don't think it's time for them to pick their supports. But like it's it's interesting what you said. Like you like the max on the cores. What do you think about? I mean, on the Viper part, I absolutely agree with you because it's a nice item on the Viper. You're tanky very early on because your passive corrosive skin is coming out, and the Mac actually gives you, of course, the HP regen, which you need anyway, mostly for laning. If you're even played in mid, you need it as well. And of course, you have the heal. Plus, the Viper is pretty much the tanky part. You will always be in the front lines. This Mac is gonna affect most of the people. But what do you think about Max, for example, on a Doom?
Mech on a Doom, I mean, I'm a fan of anti-carry utility Doom, basically because he can just get them super quickly. So it's not like Mech is super good on the hero, because obviously he has a super low mana pool and can't really do much with it anyway. But it's just the fact that he can get it so quickly with Devourer Gold. And I think that, Mech on someone like Viper or Darkseer, well, I guess on Viper in particular, instead of something like a Vanguard, is because inherently with Corrosive Skin and your short-range attack, you are going to want fights to last, and you're going to want to be tanky, because that's how you're going to do damage. And just being a range hero means that shields like Vanguard and other sorts of traditional tanky items are pretty hard to come by on you. And then it just so happens that Viper just comes online really early, so the meta was like, okay, well, Mech is just really good on this hero. Darkseer, because he's a team fight hero, and if you're going to build it on someone that needs regen and armor, then build it on the Darkseer, who can also farm it quickly.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes the same for Doom. Doom's not necessarily a team fight hero, but because he can get it quickly, and because he's going to usually be there to doom someone anyway, it just helps your team out so much.
Yeah, like in the meantime, just to run up like our thoughts here on the Doom. Like I hate Doom with a Mac simply because like just out of the casting experience, so many times the Doom just is not in the front lines. The Mac is not affecting the entire players. We see a lot of solo action of the Doom. You might get a pick off whatsoever, or he dies in the attempt of like getting a solo kill whatsoever, and then the team always stands without the Mac. With the Viper, it's mostly the opposite. And that's why I like the Mac on a Viper much more. But we have to talk more about the draft here, since those guys pick really fast, which I like. The Shadow Fiend is coming out for MVP, which I absolutely like. They have the Batrider initiation, they have the Burst Strike, now the Dazzle with Harass, also giving this more security to the Shadow Fiend with his low HP pool, with the Shadow Crave, of course. Plus, of course, with Weave, there's additional minus armor source coming out, as well as the Shadow Fiend's aura. So there's a lot of synergy coming out here MVP's way. That's definitely something I like. They decide to ban the Doom, which is absolutely nice, I guess, because like their heroes, they really rely on spells. I mean, okay, Shadow Fiend, then later he won't care if he doesn't have the raises or the Requiem because his right click will be so high. But yeah, of course, Batrider and Sand King and also now Silencer, if they would get doomed, that would be horrible. Now they turn it around. The Doom is out, but they want still Silence in their team, and there comes the Silencer. And this is a hero we see, in my opinion, not too often, but we should see him more often, because this global silence, it forces the enemy into BKBs, and then a farmed silencer also steals a lot of intelligence, so later he is someone who can actually do, yeah, he can dish out quite some damage. On the other side now, Visage and Lion, so there we have Visage Familius, also rare sight at the moment in the current meta, because he's just getting pushed out by so many other support heroes, and Lion now, also a buffed hero in 6.81. He already got this little AoE on his Finger of Death, and now it's also, you can upgrade it. Like, I like him in combination with RP, for example. I have no idea why we don't see more Magnus Lion combinations, because I still think it's a very, very sick combination. RP, if you get 3 or 4 players in, they all get the Finger of Death damage, and effectively, like in theory at least, it's a lot more damage than even Double Edge on multiple targets.
Well, the thing is, like, that's a wombo combo. There's a lot more of the game than just one wombo combo, but I just want to point out also that they picked the Shadow Fiend and the Viper that was already there, so they're expecting the Ember Spirit to go mid, and Shadow Fiend can do quite well against that. Um, okay, it looks like it's a Viper off lane and a Dragon Knight mid. But I was going to say they could just put the Ember Spirit in the tri lane, and they do come up with the core Silencer, so maybe they're putting the Shadow Fiend in their tri lane and putting the Silencer mid. I think that would be pretty good, but to be fair,
Yeah, early Silencer would be nice, actually.
yeah, absolutely, but I think they should probably throw the Silencer mid. I kind of had a whole lot of thoughts, but I mean they drafted so quickly. I'm not able to get them out just yet before the draft's finished. So, also Lion Visage is just a really really scary roaming combo. They have a lot of burst just between the Earth Spike Hex. That's a really long disable, and then you can get 1 or 2 Soul Assumptions off.
Yep.
That's way too much, and it's kind of hard to lane when you have a really low HP hero like Shadow Fiend. But we'll have to see. It all comes down to execution. So. Whenever you're ready, let's
Yeah,
introduce
let's
the
go
teams.
for a team introduction here. We have Ryzen here on the Sand King, then Crow is on the Shadow Fiend, March playing the Silencer, Heen is on the Dazzle, and all alone on his own is Forever here on the Batrider in the offlane.
And from Mahameru on on the Dragon Knight going mid, it is a stand-in CSTL. Going, it looks like an aggressive tri-lane as a farmer. The Viper, it is Shrimp. On the Visage, it is NMR. And on the line, we have D. And then in the solo safe lane Ember Spirit, we have Zebra.
Zebra. That's a name I like. How comes the Indonesian guy calls his hero Zebra? It's like I would expect that from, I don't know, maybe some African player or something, South African player. They have actually quite a nice Dota scene.
Well, the action's already going to be starting as we have a 3-man smoke. D is going to catch up Keen, gets an Earth Shrimp, and they're going to choose to back off. They can't see up the high ground. They know that there are at least 2. They probably wouldn't be there on their own. This is going to try to lay down a ward.
Yep, and this will be the first blocking ward, but Ryzen is coming in here, and let's see. Well, there is a Burst Strike, but I don't think this is gonna get any follow-up. He's, yeah, too fast.
Yep, still going. Shrimp taking a bit of damage. Curse of the Silencer on him. He's going to grab the Region Rune, which is usually the most useless 0-minute rune, but
Yeah, in this
very
case,
fortunate for NMR there.
this is just perfect. I mean, like, you get some harass up whatsoever in the first couple seconds of the game. I mean, they even spend a smoke on it, so that's 100 gold down the drain for Mahameru. But yeah, with the Region Rune, it's pretty much reset. The only one who like lacks a lot of mana is the Lion, but like Clarity also buffed now in the current patch. So yeah, let's see about the wards. We already said something about, of course, the wards in the jungle. Now we have 2 traditional wards here in the mid, observer wards, just giving vision towards, of course, all those side rotations coming in. There is an aggressive ward by the Dire side, giving nice vision in whatever comes here to the rescue for the Ember Spirit. But like, I'm anyway looking forward towards this safe lane, because like the Ember Spirit should prevail against the Batrider, simply for the fact that if he goes for a Flame Guard build and early levels, he can just ram them away when it gets too hot for him, literally.
I think Batrider actually has a bit of an advantage here as long as he can just spam the napalm stacks. This is one of those circumstances where you do something like level up napalm before leveling Firefly because Ember Spirit's so squishy and you can just easily burn through the Flame Guard. At least in my experience, trying to play bad against Ember, I think that as long as you keep napalming him, it's hard for him to last hit. His turn rate's still kind of bad as it is, and you can be just fine. I want to point my attention towards the aggressive tri-lane, though. Shrimp started off with a headdress only, and
Yeah.
I'm going to expect a really fast Ring of Basilius up on NMR so that they have lots of sustain in this lane. Like, they can trade hits because they have the headdress aura, and they're regening for a second. And if they just get a Ring of Basilius, all of a sudden this lane just has more inherent regen per time than MVP Phoenixes. And
Yeah, and here in the bottom lane, actually, they already trade
oh,
quite some
hold
hits,
that
but
thought.
4
Burrow strike
stacks.
up top. Shrimp in trouble. Phoenix is getting Grave Chilled though. Oh, well, never mind. At the same time in the bot lane, the first blood actually goes down.
Yep,
Dang
and
it,
I
that.
actually showed it on camera. So they were like a split second earlier with the first blood here. So 2 casualties actually for Mahameru, 1 in the top line, 1 in the off line. And yeah, you were absolutely right. The Batrider definitely prevailed in that lane. And top as well, tri-lane versus tri-lane. They lose 1 there. And I absolutely like the way he plays the silencer. Usually we see last word being preferred all over the place, but of course here he can go for his curse because Shrimp, for example, he has no cast. The orb doesn't count as a cast. That means he can spam it out. He will permanently lose mana, permanently lose HP, and it's nothing he can do until level 6.
Yeah, it's so annoying to deal with Curse of the Silent and Last Word in combination as well. As long as the silencer has the mana to just do it, you pretty much just take damage that you literally can't avoid. So
Yep, and I'm sorry, a viewer just told me, yeah, in-game sound was missing. That is because, like, this night I actually got the first time in weeks the opportunity to play Dota myself, because our casting schedule at the moment is not too tight, and that's why I silenced it, because next to it I had interviews going on, managing Heflatv. So yeah, in-game sound is now here. Sorry for that, guys, that happens.
alright.
As I said, it was short notice, and yeah, now in-game
Mid
sound is
lane's
up.
Mid lane's going as expected, so Dragon Knight gonna have a big advantage early on because of the nuke from Breathe Fire, as well as being a little bit tankier and having the higher base damage. But now that Shadow Fiend has the max souls, he's really easily able to bully CST out of the lane. Even without raises, he can just right click him down. And we kind of see him edging out a little bit. It started off when he was like 14 for 3 and Shadow Fiend was like 7 for 2. But now as we see, DK is falling way far behind.
Yep, absolutely.
Banking, picks up a haste, gonna be heading towards top, and he was spotted.
Yep, and he is already level 2, that means he only needs level 3, and maybe he already starts stacking. I mean, they devoted whatever has been blocking the camps, and now we also see in the mid camp already there is a triple stack as it seems, so yeah.
Bottom
looking
lane,
good.
there's the lasso on a Zebra. No Firefly though, just napalm stacks. Okay, I thought he might be able to get him.
Yep, in the mid, the haste rune actually got into action. They got the Dragon Knight. He was actually chasing the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend getting super low, but with the rotation of the Sand King, they actually get the counter kill there on the DK. So nice turnaround for them.
Can they please stop killing each other at the same time? That would be so nice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
It's pretty amazing. Like when they go on at least 2 lanes at the same time, so it's pretty hard to catch. Like I was so happy that I actually caught the first blood, even though it was a split second before what happened in the top lane. But yeah, it looks pretty much good. Phoenix now rising here on the Sand King. He is level 3, and I said it in the draft already. With that level 2 Sandstorm, he's gonna farm that camp, so he's gonna have about 1,100, 1,200 gold whenever this camp is done. So half of his dagger is through, and now he just needs the other half. And yep, then we have the Blink Dagger Burrow Strike initiation. That's what he was looking for all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. 4F did abandon the bottom lane. He noticed the rotation from MMR and D. Actually, D, when he TP'd, he actually destroyed these trees. And the creep wave actually saw that, so Batrider went ahead and just backed off. Looks like he wants a piece of the jungle right now, so not
Yep.
going to be any kills. And it looks like it's just going to be a transition into a tri-lane bottom to support Zebra. because they've considered the tri-lane top to just have failed, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. And it's pretty much the best decision you can do. I mean, like, if you have such an obvious rotation... Oh my god, there. They catch out... Oh, the lion.
Rip. Oh, Dragon Form's going to be used, Firefly as well. Lasso going to be dragging NMR up onto the ledge. Raze is going to be able to get him. Sand King somehow gets the last hit. Not sure how that works out, but anyway. CSDL, he's going to be Burrow Strike. Wow, got really overconfident there, thinking he was invincible in Dragon Form. Looking for a Dragon Tail, but not able to find it. Instead, finds a Coffin. And Zebra has a few napalm stacks on him. He's not going to be too overconfident. He's going to go ahead and back off. And so currently 6-0 for MVP Phoenix. Very hot start for a very momentum-based team.
Yep, absolutely. Like, those guys... The funny part is, like, the Korean scene, as I said, is relatively new. And we already talked about a bit of Sapphire's influence and everything. So far, those guys look very routine, like, very much disciplined. And now, top, I think there's the next gank. Heen would be there with the slow. Poison Touch would come up. And now, with Phoenix, Ryzen Phoenix here coming in. But Viper is smelling it, but they still want to go for it. There, the Burst Strike comes now. Last one is already up. That's a lot of damage coming his way.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much a kill. Now, question is, do they get a counter kill? Yeah, perfectly made.
Heen's like, hey buddy, I see that you have no health. Let me show you what I could do to you by doing it to myself instead.
Yeah, well,
definitely a misclick there. So Sand King does go down. And he was diving knowing that there was a shallow grave, but unfortunately it looks like he misclicked a little bit. No one's perfect, so good return kill there for NMR.
Yeah, I mean, with the kill on the Viper, I mean, it was kind of a ±0 trade for the Sand King. He barely lost any gold because the gold you lose from your death, of course, plus the gold you just got from the kill. I guess it's still worth it because, I mean, the Viper is an important core for Mahameru, so getting that kill up, it's pretty important, as long as the silencer, of course, is there. But now in the mid, there's no dagger up, but it's enough. The decay just, found its way directly next to the Shadow Fiend, and now all the damage coming in. The Burst Strike will probably finish it. No, not even needed. They just finish him off. In the mid, 4 players now. That DK also not very happy in his lane.
Yeah, CSCL has been having a pretty tough time.
Oh, but
after starting off very well. What's up?
The Lion, that poor guy, is surrounded here by a Bat Rider with a Haste Drone, and now already 3 stacks, that will be 4 stack Flame Break, and now 1 hit is needed, and yeah, easy kill. That means, twice.
And in mid lane, NMR getting dived. Phoenix Ryzen even used the Epicenter. Dragon Tail coming in from CSPL. Dragon Form looking for the Dragon Tail. But Sand King, he's got more move speed. He's also got a Burrow Strike. No, he doesn't. He's never going to have the mana for that.
Yep. They kind of split up their attention here. DK was going for the Sand King, didn't get a stun off. Also, like, that would be just Dragon Tail, level 1. And in the meantime, like, the Ember Spirit trying to chase the Shadow Fiend. I think Shadow Fiend would have been priority target. If he would have been stunned or got the chains up, nothing he could have done. He would have went down for sure, but yeah, Mahameru, they have to communicate this. So, yeah, splitting up and both getting away, that was the worst case scenario pretty much.
So, things are looking pretty bad for Mahameru now. So at 10 minutes we have a Midas on Shadow Fiend with Treads. We have a similar thing for March on Silencer, and Batrider just got his Blink with Tranquils and a bottle and a full Magic Wand. So now, MVP is going to be farming on 2 cores that get very scary, and they're going to be farming quickly, and Batrider is going to make a lot of room, like what we're seeing in mid lane. Lasso on the CSPL, showing off the Blink Dagger for the first time, but never mind, D comes in with an Earth Spike on QO, also sheets for
damage.
The right clicks.
The right clicks, Jesus Christ, like 1 hit equals like a 1/4 of his HP. He already got some damage before that, and like 3 hits, that was enough, bringing the Lion down. Jesus Christ, the right clicks of the Shadow Fiend already. Like, we have to look at him. I mean, like, item wise, there's not much coming out. He went full greedy with the Midas, just the power threats on agility, but still.
Oh, he's up top with an Invis Rune, by the way.
Yep, that means a Requiem of Soul if he lands it perfectly. But he just goes for, okay, right clicks.
Just right clicks.
Yeah,
Simple.
just right clicks. And the raise.
That's what agility treads are for, man. All right clicks.
Now the Batrider is gonna clear out that wave pretty much fast, and with 4 here, also healed by the Shadow Wave, of course, they probably get that tower. There is a cliff out for the Radiant side. The question is, do they even want to use it? Maybe just to slow them down, to get some pressure themselves here on the bottom tower. Tier 1, this bottom Tier 1 tower also barely touched. This is a trade, but the problem is, like, oh, MVP so fast, that tower is already down, and like on the contrary here now, they use actually the direct cliff instead of the Radiant cliff, probably knowing already that they're gonna push into the tier 2 already, but one rotation came out. The Batrider now is going full YOLO aggressive, but this time he has to be careful though.
He's going to avoid the familiar sun though. He's grave chilled. Slate of Fist going to do some damage. He's got 4 stacks on his Zebra. Global Silence is used as well. 5 stacks now. Taking a lot of damage. He actually just dies to the Firefly and the Flame Break, but CSVL comes in, gets the Dragon Tail, but Ian comes in with the Shallow Grave and the plays, throws down the Weed. March TP'd in as well, throws down Curse of the Silent. Soul Assumption is able to finish him off though. D comes in, he's got a Hex as well, Burrow Strike onto Visage, and he's taken down. And the Visage Familiar is doing a lot of damage to March here. He's probably going to go down.
We have
Dragon
Placenta.
Poison is going to tick him. Use your Midas. Use your Midas.
No. But still, March followed by one Familiar. The Familiar, oh, stunning him, and the stun actually gets the kill on the Silencer. That was actually beautifully done, but before that fight was already a disaster. They lose so much. The Ember Spirit, like, I mean, it's a really bad sign if a Visage and the Ember Spirit has to run away from a Batrider. This is pretty much where you can say the game is very one-sided, and I mean, this nice Familiar play at the end, it doesn't nullify the fact that, yeah, it's going really the way of MVP at the moment. And saying this, I already show you guys the net worth. Now we look into the graphs, and there you can see it. It's a disaster. 10,000 experience lead at the moment for MVP. Looking at the gold graph, we are about the same value, even more than 10,000. Now we're heading towards the 12k mark, and Mahameru, they need good team fights. They need towers to make up for this. That's absolutely needed on them ASAP, otherwise this game is gonna be over at the 20-minute mark. If MVP wants to, they can group up as 5 at the moment. I don't see any interest because they are doing fine just having the pickups, so why bothering with more? Let the enemy just being demoralized, and yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, MVP kind of have an advantage no matter what they decide to do, right? Because they're going to win team fights. Viper went mech with no boots. He still doesn't have boots. Hammer Spirit doesn't even have drums yet. And the Dragon Knight is really far from his drums and even further from a Shadow Blade for initiation.
Yep.
So they can kind of just do whatever they want. They're farming on 2 Midases. They farm jungles very efficiently. But they're going to want to press their advantage. They head down bottom lane. Global Silence is used. Raisin has the Burrow Strike. QO throws down a Requiem of Souls close to like almost no one. Starts right-clicking Visage, but the Familiar is trying to do some damage to him. BKB is used. CSVL is lassoed. MVP threw the Grave out on March as well, but he's finished off by Zebra in the back. There's another Burrow Strike that catches 2. He goes down. Zebra's being chased by 4Ev. He's got the Flame Guard doing a lot of work. Remnant's up to the high ground again. And the back sides, it looks like it's just Heen versus the rest of the team. Blink, Napalm Stack's going to be used. It looks like Searing Chains is going to be able to get him. Flame Break, is it going to do enough damage? Knocks him back, just one more right click. And he manages to finish him off with that with the 4 Napalm Stacks. And QO manages to live as well, showing off that 10-second BKB at first.
Yep.
And so far it's a 2 for 2.
But still, they want more. MVP wants just more. The lasso, well, still on cooldown 30 seconds, but here comes the mech that heals, at least for a while, but now Shrimp, the first napalm stick, comes already out, and here the race is coming, the right clicks, and that's Viper.
This is the pro of Shadow Fiend. Like, people always talk about, when people bring up Shadow Fiend, the 2 things that people discuss most, or I guess 3, is like, well, he's really squishy, he's easy to gank in lane, and he flash farms, and when he gets farmed, he's really scary, but he just gets so much damage so much more quickly than most hard carries are concerned, just because getting the 72 bonus damage from having 36 souls at level 8 is obviously much stronger than it is at level 16, so a lot of heroes aren't going to be able to get that 76 bonus damage, or 72 bonus damage, at that stage in the game before 20 minutes or so.
Oh, but the Silencer getting the chains up here, twice a familiar stun. Now the Flame Guard is burning through him, but he's running, and the Shadow Fiend to the rescue. And this is Zebra going down the right clicks. The Shadow Fiend just saying hello, and he even continues on the Visage. Burrow Strike is gonna finish him off. Viper was about to cast his ultimate, but for what?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. He just does so much damage in the stage of the game, and MVP Phoenix are taking advantage of that timing so well. Especially with the presence of the Dark Lord and Weave, it does so much work, and he doesn't even have a damage on him yet. All he has is a BKB. One
Yep.
shot buys a Blink Dagger, tries to start Requiem, just walks in, casual Requiem. Oh, but no, Bird Strike cancels it. Global Silence is used. Requiem really far away, does minimal damage to Shrimp. Like, yeah, that's right, walk away while I take your tier 2 tower.
Yeah.
Zoning Requiem.
This tier 2 tower is melting, but now comes the cliff, and I think they want more. Like the Earthspike of Lion, nice interrupt there after Requiem, otherwise that would have been a disaster. Now DK popping his ultimate, there is a rotation, Zebra is coming in, he's probably trying to do something, but yeah, the Sleight of Fist is missing. It's also just level 2. I mean, this guy on this safe lane is just level 9 compared to anything else. Let's compare it directly to his enemy on the lane. Level 13 is here on the Batch Rider, who was his direct enemy on the lane, and compared to the Shadow Fiend, he's level 14. And I mean, he went for a Flame Guard build, which I can absolutely understand against the Batch Rider, but still, level 2 chains, level 2 Sleight of Fist. With that, you can't really do anything, to be honest. Like, especially these trying to catch something with chains, Sleight of Fist combination, just doesn't work out. And MVP, like, really, a lot of discipline coming out by those guys. Like, they look really like a routined team. I mean, I'm not talking about a routine tier 1 team, of course, but so far, like, you can see they gained a lot of experience last time I saw them.
Oh yeah, they're playing this to a T. It's almost scripted, so it's like, all right, let's win all the lanes, let's make them abandon their aggressive, let's get aggressive when Bat has a blink, let's get our Midases up, and then whenever we get our first big items off of those, let's go take a fight. All right, we win a fight, let's take the Roche. Like, so easy.
Yep, absolutely. The Roche is coming out at about 18 minutes, and I think they could have actually done it much earlier, but they didn't even need to. Simply for
They
the
were
fact...
too busy killing everyone.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Like, if you have a pretty much a standoff, such a Mexican standoff game where you can't really go for anything, but you're still dominating your half of the map, you can easily go for Roshan already at like the 13, 14, 15 minute mark, but here they were so busy, and now directly out of the Roshan into a lasso.
Yep, Shrimp gets lassoed right away. Global Silence not having to be used. Requiem Soul's going to be able to finish him off. In the meantime, everyone retreats.
Yep.
Well, goodbye, friend. BKB was used for that, so QO won't have a BKB, but he does have Aegis, and to be honest, even without a BKB, I don't think they can kill him.
Yep, I think that BKB was kind of a waste, to be honest.
Burst Strike going to be in from Ryzen. Global Silence used. Curse of the Silent as well. Visage trying to do what he can. Blink from QO. He's just trying to right-click down NMR on the backside of the fight. It looks like nothing really happened. People did damage to each other. And it's just a Visage for nothing. Everyone's pretty low health, though. Looks like they might walk back.
Yeah, it looks like it, but I mean, do they have a Mac yet? I don't think there's a Mac coming out. No, there's just a Buckler. The Mac recipe is actually already in his stash, so the Mac on the Dazzle will come out pretty soon. That means Shadow Wave plus the Mac, and that means they could theoretically get their HP pretty much full. The Arcane Boots are there, they can share bottles, so actually they could hold themselves in place as soon as that Mac is up on the Dazzle.
Yep, absolutely. And Silencer on March, he's actually quite close to his Agnum Scepter, so Curse of the Silent going to be applied to everyone during the ultimate as well, which is just, this is the pain of playing, especially long games against the Silencer. It's not long right now, but as it goes on, you just have so much less mana because you get all of your int stolen anytime you lose a fight when he's around. And then having Curse of the Silent applied to you in addition to being silenced means that when you're no longer silenced, you don't even have any mana to cast anything. QO manning up on the whole team here.
Yeah,
well,
but that is a mistake.
This agent, no Shallow Grade. Oh, there's that buff coming in, being able to cast it on him while he has his BKB up. And he's taking damage so he can't blink. Before Ev blinks in, he gets hexed right away from Lion. Shadow Fiend throws out some rages as well. And Dragon Knight ends for Ev's streak.
I was actually looking forward to Shadow Fiend popping to some poison damage whatsoever, but like, yeah, he just got a Shadow Wave up before the Crave Chill ended, the Shadow Crave ended, and yeah, that actually saved his ass. But like him manning up there against 5, that's ballsy. In the end, this was a really questionable move. By the way, also the BKB in the fight in the mid, I think that was a bit overkill. I mean, the only thing he really contributed there was a Requiem of Souls. I guess he predicted the other team coming closer towards him, so he will damage the lasso target plus the incoming players, and that's why he wanted to use the BKB. But Mahameru, they kind of abandoned his player, the DK there in this case, because I mean he got lasso dragged into 5. There was no point running in there, nothing you can do. So yeah, the BKB kind of wasted there in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like Mahameru went kind of all in on their lanes because like Lion is like imagine if this Lion was a Vengeful Spirit instead of, I mean, Shadow Demon was banned out, but you can just swap someone out of Lasso right away. And it still would have been good in the tri-lane, obviously not as good as the Lion, but the tri-lane failed. And now they just have no way to deal with the Bat Rider. And you're talking about how they abandoned whoever got lassoed. Well, they have to. They literally just can't deal with it. And speaking of which, Burst Strike coming in, Lasso going to be on Shrimp, Global Silence going to be used, first time showing off that Aghanim Scepter. Look at all of them have almost no mana, and also Kyo has a DV rune right now. Shrimp goes away, everyone retreats to the high ground, but it's not going to be safe for much longer.
Yep, and that means now they want to go high ground, and there's no reason not to. We are 22 minutes in, they're still Aegis protected. The Shadow Fiend is just right-clicking his way through the tower, and like all they can do is here and there some Firefly Slide of this, but oh my god.
Oh. Requiem Soul's not on too many, but the Burrow Strike is going there, and the right clicks are able to finish him off. NMR is going to die. There's another right click, and QO is godlike right now, currently 9-0. This Rax is going to go down, and there's the GG.
Yep, this GG is actually about time. Just stating the fact. Oh my god, Seafra is trying to do something,
nope.
But he's not getting it. He's not getting his satisfaction there. So either way, this game was absolutely dominated by MVP. Very nice laning stage, I have to say. They won pretty much all 3 lanes. Nice rotation coming out. Also nice farm by the supports of MVP. They made it possible that this Shadow Fiend got that big. And either way, Mahameru, they have to answer it. This is JDL, that means a 2-game series. Game 2 is coming up soon, and let's see if Mahameru, with a different draft or with a different play style in the laning stage, can actually secure something. Like we didn't see too many bad plays coming out by Mahameru. I think they have the potential to beat MVP, but of course they have to bring up a lot more discipline, a lot better farm. Either way, guys, game 2 will come in just a second, so hang in there.